In this video, we're going to cover the principle of paying yourself first, or PYF. This is what will give you the sacred seeds that you will need to plant into your financial garden. Time is the king of all assets. Time is more valuable than money. However, most of us exchange our time, which is what we value, for money, which is what we need. Yet, time is the king of all assets because in each of our lives, time runs out, and all moments wasted can never come back. However, money can always be recreated more and more. You can always make more money. You can replace money, but you cannot replace time. Okay? Time is the most valuable and the most perishable of all possessions. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back. It's more valuable than money, and you can get more money, but you cannot get more time. And as the Buddha said, the trouble is you think you have time. So, to live a life that you cherish, a life that you look back on and say, wow, that was a good life, it is ideal to stop having to trade time for money. When you have to go to work. I'm not saying that you should stop working because working really fulfills us. And quite often when you retire, after about 3-4 months of that, you realize you want to do something productive. So we all want to do meaningful work. What we don't want to do is to have to go to a job, especially when we don't like the job, or especially when we have to, even on days when we'd rather be doing something else. Okay? So it is important to gain time freedom so that you can spend your time on what you love most instead of on, just basically always just spending most of your time just to get money, just to survive. And I think this quote here by Khalil Gibran really kind of nails that point. He says, "They deem me mad because I will not sell my days for gold, and I deem them mad because they think my days have a price." So, whereas we can all agree that yes, money is important, we need it in this particular kind of world that we have set up, but time is a real asset. That's what we should be looking at, gaining, not more money, more time. So, all that we are doing here is all about freeing ourselves so we can have time freedom. So even when it's about work, we work because we want to, because it fulfills us, not because we have to. Right. So the key to this is to keep a good percentage of your income and send it to your wealth garden, guaranteed, no matter what. That is the key to earning time freedom. Okay? And the reason why is that this way, your wealth garden will start to work for you and free you from having to work for money. Unless you build a garden, you will always have to work for money. Always. Doesn't matter how much you earn. If you don't have a garden, even if you earn $1 million a year, you'll still have to work for it, So to, in quotes, buy your freedom, you have to build that garden. And you have to assign a percentage of every dollar you earn to your wealth garden before you pay bills and so on. This pay yourself first, PYF, amount is invested on a long-term basis in your wealth garden. Now, I'm sure we all have plenty of excuses as to why we don't have anything left to invest. That is the oldest story in the book. Everybody's got that story. Oh, at the end of the month, I really don't have anything left, so how can I invest, If you have that story, you're not unique. You're like everybody else on the planet. And this is a secret. No matter how much people earn, they always seem to have that same excuse. Even people who earn, like, I don't know, $10,000 a month or, something really small, they have that excuse. Same as the people who earn $1 million a month or $10 million a month. They're still going to have that excuse. Oh, at the end of the month, I really don't have much left. Money just seems to occupy the space that you give it. So, no matter how much you earn, you'll always have that excuse. So what's the solution? You simply have to start tracking and examining your spending. See what items you can change, See what aspects of your lifestyle you can change. There's some things that you're spending money on that you don't even really feel any gratification out of. Cut those ones out. The ones that you do feel a gratification of, you can keep them. What I'm just saying is that once you start to know where your money is going, you realize that a lot of it is just going to stuff that you really don't have to. You don't really enjoy it. Maybe you're just doing it so that the neighbors can say you're doing it, or whatever, so that you can be accepted in the society that you live in, or whatever. You don't really get fulfillment from some of those things. So some of those things can change. Do whatever it takes to ensure that you get your investment money each month without fail on your current income level. Don't wait until you make more money wherever you are. No, and then that's no matter how many debts and bills and obligations you have now, no matter, there is no excuse. You simply have to determine that you're going to start today, no matter what. Now, will that be comfortable? Of course not. It'll cause you some discomfort, but you'll get used to it and then you'll be glad for it. Now, in this chart, you're getting a very simple example of what it looks like to be a loser, somebody who's not paying themselves first, and they're being called a loser because they're losing all their money. It's not a judgment call on their personality. It's just that they're literally losers because they're literally losing all their money. It's all going down the drain. Then on the right side, you've got a winner. The winner is paying themselves first. And that's how the winner's wealth garden looks like. Okay? Now, we're going to look at this chart in a bit more detail later and explain it clearly. But for now, let's just understand a little bit about why it's important to start your wealth garden very early. The moral of the story of this slide is this: the earlier you start, the less you will need. Now, if you recall this graph, we saw this graph in our compound interest video. Do you remember it? You will recall that we saw then in detail that the earlier you start investing, the less you need to invest per month. In this graph, we're asking ourselves, how much do we need to invest per month to reach $1 million, by the time we're 60 years old? And we saw that because of the way compound interest works, the amount you need to set aside to your, PYF, or pay yourself first fund, will depend mostly on your current age, and secondly on your goals. The younger you start, the less you need to invest. So we can see from this chart that if you start planting your garden when you're 20 years old, you'll only need to be investing $361 a month into the garden for it to become $1 million by the time you're 60. If you start when you're 30, you'll need to be investing about $398 a month. Sorry, $698 a month. If you start when you're 40, you'll need to be investing about $1,436 a month. If you start when you're 50, that number goes up to $3,422. If you start when you're 60, you'll need to be investing about $14,000 a month. So you see, the earlier you start, the better. Okay? That's the most critical thing. So don't start thinking, oh, when I get more money, it will be better. No. The earlier you start. Today is good. Yesterday would have been better. Now, before we look at the wealth gardens again in detail, like we said in this and other videos, let's just first understand how much money do we need to be putting aside from our income that should go into our garden every month without fail. In other words, what is our pay yourself first amount, our PYF number? Here are some simple rules of thumb to follow. If you're in your 20s, you can assign about a minimum of 10% of your monthly paycheck. This means that every month, without fail, 10% of it goes first before you pay any bills or do anything with the rest of the money. As soon as it arrives, before you do anything with it, 10% goes into your investment fund. You pay yourself first. If you're in your 40s, then the recommended minimum is around 20%. Okay? But listen, the more you assign and the earlier you start, the better. So don't just aim at the minimums. The minimums are like what you absolutely must do. What you want to do is try and go beyond the minimums and start as early as possible. Start today. Since you can't go backwards to yesterday, start today, and do whatever it takes to at least hit the minimum, if not more. Okay? Because regardless of age, the more you assign to your pay yourself first, the better. Doesn't matter what age you are. It's always a good idea. So shoot for higher than the minimum and you reach your goals faster. But never, ever, ever go less than the minimum. If you can't, try to at the very least start at the minimum and then increase the percentage every few months. Make that your little challenge. How can I increase my PYF every month? And if you put that in your mind, you'll find that your mind will produce solutions. Now, the trick to winning this is to set and forget. Automation is the key to success. Okay? Automation is the key to success. The rule is you must invest this percentage without fail from every single dollar you earn, no matter what, no excuses. And the way to achieve this, that is to make it all automatic. For example, you can instruct your bank, it's called a standing order, to take that percentage out automatically from every single paycheck you get. And you can instruct them to send it to your investment fund, So you don't even have to see the money. As soon as it hits your account, bam, 10% or 20% or whatever is taken out, sent to your investment fund. So even when you look at your balance, you're actually seeing a balance that doesn't show the amount that's been taken out. And the human mind is very funny. It will learn to work with what you've got. But if you leave the whole sum there and then you tell yourself, I'm just going to try and manage my funds, and at the end of the month, I'll make sure that I have some left to invest, that doesn't usually work. You have to take it out first, not last. Yeah? If you don't make it automatic, you will tend not to do it. It's human nature. The moral of this story is automate it, set it, and forget. So you don't even get to see the money that is automatically set aside for your wealth garden as soon as your paycheck comes in. For example, set up a standing order with your bank, employer, and the investment funds. Give them your portfolio details and instructions and tell them to automatically deduct your paycheck as soon as it comes in. Send that deducted money to your investment fund, and the money should be distributed as per your particular asset allocation plan. With certain investment funds and all that, you can actually have such an order and it will be executed automatically. Same with banks and employees. In other words, with this game plan, the garden eats first and then everyone else eats next. No excuses, without fail. So I think this video has covered a lot. We've seen the chart on the winners and the losers. In terms of losers lose all their money. Winners have a part of their money staying with them. And if you recall from the video on the wealth garden, we really exploded that diagram so that you can understand from that video, if you need to go back, what the two gardens look like. When you have a tap that just has all the income water draining, going to the drain, whereas one whereby you have the income tap going into investment baskets, which then produce their own income tap until one day that tap is bigger than your job tap and you can actually walk away. So at least now you've understood the garden and you've understood how to build it, where to get the money to build the garden. So you've understood how the garden works, and now you've understood where to get the money to build that garden. And I hope you've understood that it doesn't matter how much you earn, start now. Even if you think you earn very little, that's more than enough. Even if you think you earn very little and you're full of debts and you actually need more money in your life, trust me, that is more than enough. You don't need to make more money to start this. You actually need to start this, and that's what's going to save you. So in conclusion, keep these words at heart and live by them, for they are the key to your freedom. Let us read them. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. This is from The Richest Man in Babylon. You are literally buying your time freedom by living by this code. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. That is the price of your freedom. You are attesting that you value yourself more and that you value your loved ones more, and you hold your financial seeds sacred, all that more than you value having to comply with society and pay your taxes, pay your bills, look good for the neighbors, always have the right, prop here and there so that your neighbors can think you're successful. You value and cherish your life, your time, your loved ones, and the financial seeds, you hold them sacred and you value them more than all these other superficial stuff. Okay? Because your pay yourself contributions are literally a sacred seed that will grow into a garden that will give you the freedom that you seek. So hold this concept sacred. Hold this pay, a part of all of I earn is mine to keep sacred. As in sacred, not just a nice thing to do, it's sacred. Don't waste sacred seeds. When you spend your PYF on junk or things just so you can fit in and blend in and pay bills and all that sort of stuff, what are you doing? You're wasting sacred seeds. So just in conclusion, I thank you for your time, and always remember, burn this into your mind and into your heart. Burn it so deep that even when you look at the sky every day, all you see is like these words burning across the sky. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. Everywhere you look, you should be seeing these words. Let this be your guiding light. This is what you're going to use to build that garden. Thank you.